Hey y'all, I'm Sam. Welcome back to my Southern Rustic kitchen, and welcome if you are new. I've got some delicious dinners planned for you this week, so let's head on into the kitchen and let's make some delicious meals. I am starting this week out with making some Swedish meatballs. Now, I originally made this recipe for the crock pot, but today I'm going to be making it in the oven, and it's super easy to put together. I am going to start out by adding a pound of ground beef to a bowl, along with 2 tablespoons of some Lipton onion soup mix, salt, pepper, and a pinch of allspice. Now you don't have to add the allspice, I just like the flavor that it gives the meatballs. And then I'm going to just mix this well with my hands, shape them into about 1 to 1.5 inch little meatballs, and I'm going to place them on this plate until I get all of them completed. Now that the meatballs are rolled into meatball shapes and resting on the plate, I'm going to go ahead and make the sauce. So to a bowl, I'm going to add a can of cream of chicken soup, the rest of the soup mix, salt, pepper, Worcestershire sauce, parsley, allspice, and some beef broth. And then I'm just going to whisk that together until it's all well combined and smooth. And then I'm just going to set that aside while I sear up the meatballs. To my pan, I added just a little bit of olive oil, probably about 2 tablespoons. And then I'm going to add in my meatballs, and I'm going to sear these on both sides in an oven-safe skillet. If you do not have an oven-safe skillet, you can just cook these in whatever pan that you have and then place them in a 9 by 13 inch baking dish that's been greased. And then I'm going to remove the meatballs once they're seared on both sides. I'm going to add in an onion. You don't have to add the onion, but you can if you want to. And then I'm just going to cook that until it's tender. Once those are tender, I'm going to add my sauce, scraping up any of the bits that are stuck on the bottom of the pan. And then I'm going to add the meatballs back in, put this in a 350-degree oven for about 20 to 25 minutes, or until the meatballs are cooked completely through. While the meatballs are in the oven baking, I'm just going to make some simple mashed potatoes to go along with it. All I do is peel some potatoes, put them in a pot with some cold water, bring it up to a boil, let them cook until they're tender, and drain them. I put them back in the pot, and I kind of mash them up a little bit. I add some butter, room temperature milk, some salt and pepper, And then I just kind of mix it together until it's the consistency that we like, and that's pretty much it. I just taste it and see if I need to adjust the seasoning, add more salt or more pepper or whatever it may need, and then that is pretty much good to go. Now that the meatballs are done, I'm going to remove them from the oven and add in my sour cream. Now, if you don't have sour cream, you can also use plain Greek yogurt in the place of the sour cream. You can't taste the difference, and it's absolutely delicious. Once I get that all mixed into the sauce, it's ready to serve. Alright, here is my plate. I just have the mashed potatoes and I just top that with the meatballs with the gravy. That gravy is absolutely delicious, so are the meatballs. And then I just have a side of broccoli with some cheese. My daughter requested that. And then I just have some homemade sauerkraut to go along with it. This was absolutely delicious and very filling. Up next for Tuesday's dinner, I had a little bit of extra time in the kitchen, so I'm going to make Southwestern chicken, corn casserole, and a berry crisp for dessert. I'm going to start out by making my Southwestern spice blend. This will be in the recipe up on my blog. I've added the chicken to an oven-safe skillet. You can use a baking dish if you don't have an oven-safe skillet. I'm going to sprinkle on a good amount of that spice blend on both sides of the chicken. I don't rub it in, I just sprinkle it on and leave it. And then I'm going to bake this at 400 degrees for about 35 to 45 minutes or until the chicken is completely cooked through and registers between 160 and 165 on a meat thermometer. While the chicken is baking, I'm going to put together my corn casserole. I'm going to start out by adding some melted butter to my pan along with some corn, bell peppers, green onions, milk, salt, and pepper to my 12-inch round baking dish. But you can do this in any dish that you have that's big enough. Then I'm going to mix that well and bake that in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes or until it's nice and bubbly. Then I'm going to take that out and keep that on the back burner on the top of the stove just to keep it warm while everything else is baking.
Kinda simple, kinda wishful about things, and you're kinda simple, but like a pistol, you fire.
The chicken and the corn casserole are both in the oven, finishing up cooking, and I'm going to make my mix very crisp. So I've got some thawed frozen mixed fruit in my bowl here, and I'm going to add some sugar, vanilla, salt, some lemon juice, and cornstarch. And I'm going to mix that well, and I'm going to set that to the side to allow those juices to come out of those berries and kind of macerate a little. And while that's happening, we're going to go ahead and make the crumble topping to go on top of the berry crisp. for the crumble topping, I'm going to combine in a bowl some flour, oats, sugar, brown sugar, baking soda, baking powder, cinnamon, nutmeg, and some salt. I'm going to mix that around to make sure everything is nice and combined. Then I'm going to add in some butter and mix that with a fork until it's nice and crumbly. After that, I'm going to add in some pecans. Now you can add in whatever kind of nuts that you like. I like to lightly toast mine before I add them in. And I'm going to stir that around to mix it up together. And then I'm going to sprinkle that topping all over the top of that berry mixture. And then I'm going to bake this at 350 degrees for about 45 to 50 minutes or until the top is golden brown and bubbly.
You're such a nice guy when you're not just talking about yourself and the way of how you dwell. I get it. Now I'm so tired of hearing all your stories about your rich friends traveling Mercedes. You're such a nice guy when you're not just talking about yourself and the way of how you dwell. I get it. Don't you get it? Now I'm so tired of hearing all your stories about your rich friends traveling Mercedes. You're such a nice guy when you're not just talking about yourself and the way of how you dwell. I get it. Don't you get it? No. I've been around, you've stayed away. Oh, I won't let it show. You got a hold on me. I remember the sound of us being loud, so loud, so loud. Just wonder where you're walking and talking, thinking, are you the same? Wonder how you're doing and moving through the crowds every day. And all I wanna know, are you thinking about me? I just gotta know. I just gotta know. So dumb. I wish I could.
Here's what the berry crumble looks like right when it comes out of the oven. So I'm going to let this cool down until after dinner, but you can serve this however you want. You can serve this as is or with some ice cream, whichever way that you like. It's going to be absolutely delicious. This is one of my favorite summertime desserts. Here is my plate. I just have the Southwestern chicken here, and this was so good. It's one of my favorite chicken recipes to make, especially during the summer. And I have some of the corn casserole here. I served it with some fresh cucumber and some homemade sauerkraut. And this, you guys, was so good. Today I'm going to be making some calzones. I'm going to make 3 cheese calzones. I have been working on the measurements of this dough for a few months now, and it's finally perfect. So I'm going to start by dividing my dough into 4 pieces. I'm going to roll each piece out on a piece of parchment paper until it's about 1/4 inch thick. Then I'm going to brush the top of that with some olive oil, add some fresh homemade ricotta cheese, which I've been working on this recipe as well. I'm going to also add some mozzarella cheese and some Parmesan cheese. I'm going to fold the one side over and crimp it shut. You can do this with your fingers or with a fork, whichever way will work just fine. I'm going to brush the top with more olive oil and some Parmesan cheese. I'm going to cut 3 slits in the top and transfer it to a preheated 425 degree oven that has already got my pizza stone, or you can use a pizza pan in there. I'm going to bake this for about 15 to 20 minutes or until it is golden brown, and then I'm going to remove it to a wire rack to cool slightly before serving this with some pizza sauce on the side. Now you can also add some Parmesan cheese to the top of this if you want before baking it.
You come up with some words to say. That's not okay. When you feel like you're
here is my plate. I just have the 3 cheese calzones here, and this dough turns out perfect every single time. It's so light and fluffy. And I had some canned pasta sauce that I canned last year, and I just put that in a pot on the stove and heated it up and served it in a little container on the side. Wrapping up this week, I made some chicken burgers for dinner. I didn't have any burger buns on hand, so I just made some. I will leave the link to the dough in the description box down below, as well as all of the other recipe links. They will all be down there. So I just let that rise, separated them into 8 pieces, and then I let them do their second rise, brushed the top with a cornstarch mixture, and then sprinkled on some sesame seeds and some poppy seeds. I baked them in a preheated 425-degree oven for about 15 to 20 minutes until they were golden brown, and then I removed them to cool. I also made some of the suddenly salad pasta. I just cooked that according to the package directions, and then I just assembled my burger. I added some mayo, cheese, pickles, tomatoes, some mixed greens, and then I just had some of the pasta on the side, and it was absolutely delicious. And that is it for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you leave me a comment in the comment section down below. I love chit-chatting with all of you. Also, give me a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.